Hi everyone, IntuitiveEdge here. Welcome to my channel. Once again, I am anxious to get back on here and start doing videos again. I've taken myself off of the numbing pain medication that I've been on because I found that it numbed more than pain. And it seems that those things really do kind of put a damper on things, including intuition. So I've been off of that for a little while and I'm feeling much more better, and more clear-headed. Yeah, some of that stuff just kind of numbs and dulls more than is intended. So we can't have that. So I'm trying other methods of dealing with this little injury that I've got, and hopefully it will work. It seems to be working, so things are better for now. And that's a good thing, because I want to get into what's happening around the world and beyond. There's so much happening in the news, and I've been following the news, but I haven't been able to post videos for a variety of reasons, mostly dealing with my injured arm. So, but I'm going to do my best because I really want to get back into the swing of things. This is driving me nuts. So, and as we bid 2020 farewell, I know that I will be better in 2021, and so will you. Okay, what should we expect coming into 2021? All right, so let's get started with this year ahead. I've got 12 cards laid out, and so we're going to see what energies are surrounding each month going into this year. What months might be really important that we pay attention to, and then also what messages might be coming in. January has the card of the refusal, depression, not wanting to listen, being closed off, being distant, emotionally unavailable. When I was looking and feeling into this earlier, I pulled a couple cards, and one was the reverse Queen of Cups on January, which is emotional instability and emotional volatility. So we're going to see flavors of all of that. Not wanting to hear the other side, not wanting to listen, being emotionally vulnerable, being emotionally, a lot of emotional outbursts, possibly immaturity, but just refusal to get along, not wanting to hear what you have to say. These are the energies around January, okay? So, and we know that things are heating up, possibly politically, and this will definitely feed into that. So emotions are going to be probably unchecked, to say the least, in January. It's going to feel very emotionally. Those that don't know how to handle their emotions might be having outbursts, while others might be withdrawn and emotionally distant. So that's what we have January. Those are the energies. All right, I'll show you the card. That's the card there. Okay, February, Major Arcana coming out. Now we got something going on in February. We got the Tower card coming out for February. So I don't know if this is related to the January refusal and emotional outbursts and immaturity, but we've got some major forceful changes, to put it lightly and mildly, on the horizon. Forceful change, generally the Tower comes when things are destroyed, they have to be taken down, they have to be dismantled, something better needs to come in its place and be rebuilt. Okay, this is the demolition phase. Before things can be rebuilt, you have to tear something down. So this is the Tower. The Tower is all about things falling apart, and it can feel very painful. It can be especially if you don't flow with the change, you can feel rather slighted by what's happening. And sometimes this can be a lot of chaos in the turmoil as well. So the card of turmoil, the card of destruction, things having to change in sometimes an abrupt or abrasive manner. February is going to be all about starting over, okay? Dismantling and starting again. Now, with what is rumored to be coming our way, possibly in January, if there is such a thing, that many are predicting that there may be military tribunals or some type of takedown of the powers that shouldn't be. Some of the bad actors may be getting caught in their own lies. The House of Cards is going to come down in February. Okay. All right. Let's see. March. Well, right on the heels of February, with that energy of destruction and things falling apart, is the card of endings. Okay. This is the card of endings. Things coming to an end. Things are over. This is the card of kind of the cleanup. Okay. Things falling apart in February. March is going to be about cleanup. March is going to be about dealing with and coming to terms with the end of whatever, the end of things, the end of the way things have always been, the end of cycles, the end of, who knows, political parties, if that happens. There's going to be some changes, I think, after this chaotic election season. I think both of the two main political parties, the Democrats and the Republicans, have some overhauling that need to be done. There's some grassroots on the inside of each that want to foment change. And there does need to be some possible shakeup and some change in those areas. But regardless of how things change, March is going to be about the end of an era, okay? The end. All right. Now, April's going to be starting to see a change for the better, okay? There's going to be a lot of destruction with that Tower card and that ending card in the early spring. But rounding the corner into April, we've got the card of getting the upper hand. So things might still be a little bit of a struggle, but it seems as though a corner has been turned by the time we get to April. It's going to feel maybe like things are on a little bit better of a trajectory. We've come through a lot. We've come through a lot of change, a lot of maybe unwelcome or unwanted change or difficulty, at things just falling apart on us, having to move on from things and things ending. Now we're moving and turning a corner, okay? And it's going to feel like maybe we've finally gotten ourselves back on track. I feel like the United States in particular is going to rise to a new level of prominence. I'm trying to feel into what exactly that is for April. But I just see the United States becoming the world. It's like a world dominating feeling again. Not that we're out going and starting wars and conquering, because that's not the feeling of it. It's just finally getting the monkey off our back and feeling like we have our reputation or standing or something is being restored and coming back. We're getting that upper hand again. And resting, W-R-E-S-T-I-N-G, resting, control, like gaining control back from those that have tried to bring us down. Okay, that's how that feels. It feels like trying to get the upper hand of it. Now, that's actually, I think April's going to be a really pivotal month. So look for April to be like a real turning, a real change, a shift, a turning point, getting the upper hand, because we're flowing right into May. And May has this card of happy, abundance, and celebration. Now, that's a big change from a year ago in May, because that was a really negative month that kind of the end of May we saw in 2020 was kind of the kickoff with the death of George Floyd that kind of kicked off all the burning and looting and mayhem, if you get my drift there. Burning, looting, mayhem started all of that off. And so, yeah, May of 2021 looks to be a gentler feel to it, a nicer feel to that month. It's going to be kind of like a breather after coming through a difficult winter and early spring. Later spring will be much nicer. June, we have the card of coming to a place of rest. Okay, the Four of Swords. This card of rest. So, generally speaking, looking at all of this volatile energy through the early months of 2021, and then turning that corner in April, having a reprieve in May, it's going to feel like, okay, we need to take a breath and just rest in June. June has a nice feel to it, but it's like, whew. Not quite letting guard down, but having just a momentary reprieve or a breath, or just getting some much needed perspective. And resting, I think we need some genuine rest from what has transpired. Okay. Let's see, was that June or July? Let's see, January, February, March, April, May, June. Okay, so July. I just had to make sure I counted the right amount of cards. Okay, yes, July. July, we have this card. That's a card of having to come to peace with something and move on. It can be kind of a sad card because it does denote an ending where you kind of have to shift your perspective and say goodbye to the old and hello to the new and just move into something new. So after that period of rest, it's like we can move on now. We can move forward now. We have a place to go. And letting go of the past. There's going to be a lot to let go of psychologically for, I believe, the first few months of 2021. It's going to take us some time to kind of get our bearings again and feel grounded enough to move forward. Letting go of the past and moving into the future. Okay. Let's see. That was July. August. August is the card of perspective. It's also the card of taking an opportunity and surveying and moving at the appropriate time. It's kind of got a similar vibe to July. They're both looking forward, wanting to leave the past behind, move in a new direction and move forward. And they both have kind of a healing feel to them. July is about kind of letting go of the past and embracing moving forward. And August is like, I can see the positives of moving forward now. There could be, I just heard hurricane. There could be some wild weather. There always seems to be a couple hurricanes or so each year. There may be a category 3, I want to say, possibly a named storm coming ashore. Let's see if I get messages on that. Near as I can gather, I do think there will be a named storm. I tried to tune into where, wasn't real clear. I heard Panhandle, could be maybe Panhandle of Florida. But I think it will be early storm, like around like letter D. I know they start at the beginning of the alphabet and work their way up. It feels early in the season. So anyway, that's a possibility. Okay. All right. So September. Okay. So I don't know what this is that I'm looking at. But I'm getting a little message with September, and all I see is like a fighter jet, and I see it up in the sky, and it's flying with a couple other jets, and it breaks formation and goes down, and I think it crashes. So I don't know more than that. It's just, that's all I'm seeing. It's just this fighter jet breaking formation and going down. So I'll just throw in that out there. That's all I see for that. Okay. Look for some scientific news coming out in September, or something possibly like an announcement from the FDA or the CDC, or some type of scientific news. Perhaps a breakthrough, or just some type of important news coming out. I also see some fresh faces in Congress, some younger faces, and I know there's some new people coming into Congress. But I see a younger man. Okay, this isn't a new face. I'm seeing Steve Scalise. I don't know, I think anyway, I see him. I don't know if there's an investigation that he's a part of. I see him, but also another person possibly that looks like him. Maybe it is him. Anyway, I'm just telling you what I'm seeing psychically. Yeah, I think another investigation is coming out, or that they're involved in uncovering something, or working on some type of getting to the bottom of some type of information. Okay. All right. October, we have the moon, the veil, things hidden, things behind the scenes. There could be some stuff that is still trying to work itself out that has been kept hidden. The moon always lets us know that there's more underneath. There's more to the story. Things aren't always as they seem. There's stuff on the surface that maybe looks one way, but if you dig, you find out it's something different, or there's something totally new underneath. So it's kind of the card of the investigator. So there could be some ongoing investigations or news surrounding investigations coming out. All right. Okay, October. November. We have a message on November. We have the Page of Pentacles. Okay, so for November, we've got the Page of Pentacles. And this card is a messenger. And that's probably going to be a month we want to pay attention to. Messengers tell us there's more and we need to pay attention. And so what I did was I went and got my Osho Zen Tarot deck just to see. It's different enough that sometimes I like to get a different perspective on the cards. I pulled some clarifying cards just to see what that message might be. And I got 3 major arcana. Now that tarot deck's a little bit different. It does follow the traditional tarot somewhat, but the cards were change, which is akin to the Wheel of Fortune. So something that is set, karmic in nature, meant to happen, something to deal with that could be coming in. Also the card of silence and contemplation. And there was a card, a minor arcana called isolation, which was, I read in the book, it was all about letting yourself grieve and feel emotions and cry if you need to. So I think there's something pivotal or important coming up in November. So that might be an important month to pay attention to. I don't know if there's going to be some type of event that transpires that was maybe fated, a fated quality about it, but it will probably be something that will get our attention. Okay. Now, rounding out the year, we have the Lovers card on December. This is a card of strategic partnerships. It has a nicer feel to it. It's feeling like coming together. It's feeling a little more unity, a little more unified. So I'm wondering if there's going to be a merger, some type of partnership, maybe with companies, but also with people. Some type of people coming together, maybe for a specific cause, maybe pooling resources, helping out those who are in need, coming together in that kind of way. Maybe related to November, possibly, if there's maybe some relief fund, or if there was some type of event. Sometimes people have disaster relief funds or things like that. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, but it's a nicer feel of coming together and for the greater good, like the greater whole, and it's got a unifying feel to it. Now, underneath for this year, sorry, I got my ice bag here. Underneath for this year, we have the Strength card, which is really nice. This is a card, here, I'll just show it to you. Strength card. So as you can see, this gentle figure here, taming the lion. She has the infinity symbol above her head. And I think undergirding this entire year is the Strength card. So we're going to come through some difficult times early on in the year, and we're going to have some ups and downs, some peaceful times as well, some rest, but underneath it all is that strength. So that's telling me that we'll be able to draw on our strength, that whatever we come through, we're going to get through it. It's not going to be the end of all ends, although some things may come to an end. But that strength says you're going to get through this. If it's a tough year for some, you're going to get through it. Draw on that strength. Things will get better. This is a cycle that we're in. This year is, especially the first part of the coming year, is really going to be volatile for some and a lot of change. And so if we flow through it and just go with the changes and just hold on to that strength, that we will get through this. And as we unite, and it just coming back to the end of the year with that Lovers card feels really nice. It feels like we will have come maybe not quite full circle from 2020, but we will be in a better place, I think, a year from now. So that's what I have for this year ahead. I hope you enjoyed this reading. If you do, give me a thumbs up. I appreciate it. And we'll catch you in the next video. So stay tuned, and I hope your 2021 is much better. If 2020 was bad, 2021 will be better for you. So that's my prayer for each of you, that you'll have a great year ahead. And thanks for joining me. We'll catch you next time. This has been Intuitive Edge.